Death. What is death? Is it the end? Is it a transition from this lifestyle to a different lifestyle? Is it an escape? What really is death? Well, the character of a story today says death is a mere duty. It's a part of life which you have to do with certainty. I want you to think about this. Let's say that in the next 30 days you're gonna die, and you might wonder what's gonna matter. The next 30 days, how you're gonna structure your next 30 days. Will you still be interested in buying that home for yourself which you always dreamt of? Will the ex who broke your heart matter? Will the depression, the sadness, will all of it really matter? I don't know. But what I'm sure of is that love, which will matter. Love will matter. You're gonna call your mom and tell her that you love her, and that you buying a house for her is not gonna be a priority now. You wanting to spend time with her is gonna be a priority. The ex who broke your heart, you're gonna probably call her or him and tell them that it's okay, you've forgiven them. That living a life of moral and ethics is completely something which is idealized, and that's it. The love aspect of it is gonna matter. The hate, the sadness, the negativity is not even gonna matter. As Marcus Aurelius says, do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power. What he means by this is a sense of purpose. All of us have been given a sense of purpose. All of us feel a sense of purpose as if it's almost like an emotion to us. We know that we are here for a purpose. And life's about battling these demons, battling temptations to subtly gain your sense of purpose, gain your knowledge in that sense of purpose, and expand your worldview and your experiences in order to chase that purpose. Everything else is a mere distractions. You've got only few years to live, and let those few years be dedicated to your craft and your legacy. As Marcus Aurelius says, memento mori. Remember, you're gonna die. Even though Marcus Aurelius was a king, he was an emperor with access to every material pocket which he can seek. He got access to everything materially which a young person would want, or even an old person would want, a human being would want. But he knew that he's gonna die. And here's where he reflects on his sense of purpose and says, memento mori. He says, we must make haste then, not only because we are daily nearer to death, but also because the conception of things and the understanding of them cease first. As we get older, our capacity to do work decreases. Our mental strength increases, but our mental compatibility with this body of ours, our cognitive compatibility, that decreases. Our body deteriorates. And on our mission to purpose, the peak years that we've got is when we are young, when we are just learning. We can do mistakes, we can learn from them. Our body is at its peak strength, our mind is sharp. And while young people use this excuse that they'll be young ones and it's okay to indulge into everything which distracts eternally from this sense of purpose, everything like intoxicants. And every aspect, intoxicants, as in every aspect which permanently distracts them from this path of purpose. They don't realize that when we're young, We've got a body which can fairly do things we can't do when we're old. And if life, as Marcus Aurelius says, is centered around that purpose, then why don't do everything centered around that purpose? It's a tough call to take, and every visionary, every one who fulfills their purpose has to have a tough call. But I want you to remember this, that I want you to remember that young people who are not focused have tombstones written with inks of regret. And that's about it. Well, enough about the purpose and a sense of purpose, but what exactly is our purpose? To this, Marcus Aurelius replies beautifully. He says, in everything that you do, pause and ask yourself if death is a dreadful thing because it deprives you of this. Which means that your work, your purpose, if inherently it's not something which makes you scared of death, not because you're scared of death, but because you won't be able to do this task, you won't be able to achieve boundaries and cross limitations in this task after a certain point of time, only because you will die and you won't live, is something which you should do. What basically this means is passion. Do something you're passionate about. Do something in which you're passionate to an extent that if death arrives at your doorsteps tomorrow, the only reason you'll be scared of death is because you won't be able to pursue what you wanted to pursue. The goal is to pursue something which makes you scared of death, but when death actually arrives at your doorstep, face it with reverence and courage. Remember, life is short. So put away all your disagreements, put away all your sadness, put away all your remorse, because eventually it doesn't matter. We are all gonna die, as Marcus Aurelius said. Swiftly, the remembrance of all things is buried in the gulf of eternity. All your experiences, all your sadness, all your happiness, all your prosperity, everything is gonna get buried in the gulf of eternity. Every star one day bursts out and there's nothing left. Every star has a fuel beyond which it cannot burn. It gets buried in the gulf of eternity. Everything is gonna end. The death, the life, the sad, the happy, the good. Everything is gonna end. And hence, the man who lived says, death smiles at us all, and all we can do is smile back.